When you're a little girl, you never think that your family will bust up because they can't stand each other. That's just not supposed to happen. How did we even get here? Was it my fault? Why couldn't our family just get along? Standing there watching my family come apart, I just remember thinking, God, if you're real, how can you let this happen? Are you even there? Does it even matter to you?
Family is one of life's most precious gifts. But why is it that we don't realise it until it's gone? We work and we play and you save a little, and somewhere in there you try to get ahead. And you try to fit God in too. Life can just get so crazy. Then one day you find out your wife has cancer.
What seemed like a bad situation just seemed to get worse. Mum was in a terrible accident that left her bedridden at home. Her marriage was falling apart and nothing seemed to help. Is this what our life is supposed to look like? If it is, I don't want it.
Somehow we become disconnected. Somehow we just let the relationship slip away, and somehow we just stop making time. Inside, I was worried and feeling guilty all at the same time. And I thought, what would I ever do if I needed help? And 10 weeks later, I'd need all the help I could get.
It was an invite to some worship thing, something to do with God, and Mum thought God might be there. And at this point, she tried everything to save their marriage. Dad was begged and finally went to the worship album with Mum. And I don't know what happened that night, but something in them changed. Something had really happened to my parents, and I just remember thinking, I've got to see this for myself.
I didn't set out in life as a young man to be a single parent. Now, there were 2 kids looking for love, looking for comfort, looking for a way to explain their mother's death, and they were looking to me. One of the hardest things about being a single parent is asking for help. But what's even harder sometimes is accepting it. I believe that we all come to the point in life, whether we like it or not, that we really do need help. That is a very humbling moment. To be honest, I don't know what I'd have done without the people that reached out to the kids and me. They can never do the grieving for you, but it makes the grieving easier when they're with you. They can't take the sting away, but simple kindness does ease the pressure.
I've always believed that the church should be the kind of place where people realise doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you've been through, and it doesn't matter what you've done or haven't done, God is real and you matter to Him. To me, the whole point of church is that it's a family of ordinary people whose lives are being radically transformed into something extraordinary through a relationship with Jesus. It's made up of people whose messed up lives are being turned around and put back together to create this beautiful mosaic. a picture that shows the world what God looks like. Fundamentally, this radical transformation that we talk about is a matter of the heart. It's a question of faith at the very core of who we are.
The first criminal act you commit never seems like a big deal. Multiple kilos of heroin, firearms, 4.5 years of my life behind bars. The worst thing about being in prison is feeling like you've run out of choices. You've got no options. Sitting in that cold jail cell, no TV, no radio, nothing except the Bible. I remember thinking, a Bible? That's the opposite of everything I believe and stand for. That voice, read it. Read it. In prison, you are on your own. Alone. But I knew someone was there. Honestly, I really don't know what happened, but the God I was reading about in that Bible was real. He was there. He heard me and cared. How could I refuse him?
I remember standing in church for the first time. There were people everywhere and I was thinking, who are they raising their hands to? What do they know that I don't? The whole time, it's like the preacher was speaking right to me. It was really weird. I knew that day that I needed Jesus. And as I raised my hand out of the corner of my eye, I saw that both my brothers had raised their hands and accepted Jesus. You may think it's simple, and that's okay, but I know this for sure, that God not only rescued my life, but he saved my whole family, and none of us will ever be the same.
On a day of my release, I was in the library looking for a Bible. Out of the hundreds of Bibles on the shelf that day, the one I picked up was the very book I had in my cell the day I was locked up. I heard that voice again. I've been here with you the whole time. Not a single hair on your head has been touched. I know you by name. I'm loosing the chains that have bound you. Go, I'll restore your life and freedom to you. God really cares. He will do whatever it takes to find us. I never imagined that today I'd be a college student, planning, learning and preparing to serve as a chaplain in the prison system. He finds us so that we can help others to be found too.
If we had to boil all that we are as a church down to a single thought, it would be this. Hillsong Church is all about God and people. Our passion is for God and our passion is for people. Our heart is for God and our heart is for people. The way we see the world is through God's eyes. His eyes see people. The work we do as a church, the cause that we're all about, the legacy that we want to build is God's legacy. It's all about God and people. More than ever before, I have confidence about the future. Because my confidence, our vision, and the future are in God's hands and are focused on meeting the needs of people. Last year, when the iHeart film came out in cinemas, I sat there watching, and besides feeling very proud of what our team had accomplished, I remember thinking about what we could be doing to make a difference. I mean, so much need, so many hurting people. It just made me feel like we as a church have to rise up and mobilize a generation that care enough to make a difference. The world is such a big place, and there are so many different types of people on the planet. Some people are living in incredible wealth and security and comfort. Others are barely surviving. But to God, each one of them is a prize, and our job as Christians is to make sure that the treasure of people's lives is found. If we remember that our role is to connect people, to meet them where their needs are felt most, and to serve people in ways that matter to them, then we're going to be a healthy church. We're going to be the kind of church where impossible situations get turned around. The kind of church where despair gets turned into hope and freedom.
After growing up in religion, I used to think that the last place you'd ever find me would be in church. But you know, it's kind of strange how when you're sitting on a gutter, your eyes dilated and your head spinning from the concoction of drugs that you've taken that night, how things can change. When you run a nightclub and you do the fashion shows and the VIP gigs and all the raves, you'd learn to party hard. Cocktail of drugs and alcohol, that was just a way of life for me. I thought I had nothing to lose. But sitting in that rancid gutter, I lost control. Thinking, is this where my life is going to end? God, if you can hear me, if you can see me, if you care, and you're real, I need your help.
Right now, there are millions of people just like Brendan facing all sorts of uncertainty. Some of them are so addicted to a lifestyle of running from one high to another that they can't keep it together at all. Others, like the thousands of tragic victims of recent earthquakes in Haiti, are facing unimaginable circumstances. What if we were able to do something about it? You see, I've always dreamed about leading a church that's marked by taking action. The kind of church that is part of the solution. I believe that our church, Hillsong Church, is the kind of place where we don't just talk about love, but we act on love through who we are and through what we do. What would happen if in 2010 we were truly able to do more than ever before to make a lasting difference in people's lives all around the world? What if we were able to align the partnership of our churches in Sydney and in London, Cape Town and Kiev, Paris, Stockholm, and through our Heart for the House offering in July, focus on helping disadvantaged children in Cape Town in South Africa? Children who have to walk several hours a day just to get to school. What if we were able to fund the construction of a facility that meant that these kids had a place to sleep at night so they could spend more time learning and playing during the week? In 2010, with the eyes of the globe focused on the Soccer World Cup in South Africa, what if our eyes were focused on the children of South Africa, so desperate for help? What if we were able to step up what we're going to do to help people, the poor and the needy, in our own city, with food and clothes and generosity and simple kindness? What if we were able to double what we give to help street children in Mumbai, India, and orphans in the Watoto village, Compassion? What if the iHeart movement took off and altered the course of history through one simple thing? Love. What if we were to see the unlimited potential in people who have never heard the message of salvation or hope and freedom? What if the courses we run at Hillsong Evening College could train and equip hundreds of people to fulfill God's purpose and plans for their lives? What if we were to find a way to take who we are as a church and outwork it in places we've never been before? What if we were able to start a brand new Hillsong church that would have significant impact in New York City? In fact, in 2010, that's exactly what we're looking at doing. We're looking at finding ways to do all of this and much, much more. Well, you might ask, why New York? Why Sydney? Why London, Paris and Stockholm? Why Kiev? Why Cape Town? The reason is simple. Because in each of these cities, there's teenagers, children, single parents, families, men and women, people on a pension, people who have the world at their fingertips, who desperately need God. Every single one of them. It's our job to be the church and to do something about it.
We live in these cities and we walk on these streets. We shop in these shops, ride these buses and cabs and trains, running around like a bunch of crazy people. We come and we go. And 1,000 times a day, the lines of our lives cross each other. Does anyone see me? Really see me? Most of the time, we're not even paying attention. But if we did, if we stopped just for a minute, you never know what might happen. You might not believe what you'd hear. You might not understand. I started hearing people. Just plain, simple, ordinary people. They were talking about hope. They were talking about love. They were talking about life and God and how He had made all the difference for them. Are these people freaks? No. They're not perfect, but they were real. If you asked me 8 years ago what I'd want to do with my life, I couldn't give you a clear-cut answer. I'd never have said that I'd be a pastor, or that when my newborn son thinks of honour, integrity, generosity and love, I hope that he thinks of me. I'd never have said that all I see myself doing is building the church. I would have never said any of that. Whoever said I'd have the last word.